baby duty to Chris.
I'm always on baby duty. She don't go to sleep, dude. She's fighting it so hard.
Welcome to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. We're back, baby. A dinosaur's journey. Right now, we have not been together in 3 weeks? We took about 3 weeks off. Does that sound correct?
Sounds accurate.
And I'd say mentally, we haven't been together even longer than that. I think those couple of weeks before that little bit of a break were pretty half-assed. Mike was calling in at like other times of the week, and Tolbert had a baby in his arm the whole time. We were not on top of our game. Joining me today, as always, Cookie.
Yes, sir.
Tolbert.
Still holding that baby.
And Big Mike.
Woo, my thumbs still don't work.
Mike, what's wrong with your thumbs?
We got our asses kicked last week by the Onslow Rugby Club. We did not give up 100 points, so that's always a good thing.
The final score was 94-5.
No.
And
yes.
At one point during the game, Aaron's like saying something to me. And I said, "Look, motherfucker, I can't be everywhere on this damn field." And I said the same thing to Panda. It's just like, sometimes you just don't have the right bodies. And so when the field's 50 meters wide, you can only cover so much.
Panda was on the far end. Mike was in the middle, and I was on the other far end. So it was just like me, Mike, and Panda, and then just a bunch of meat soldiers in between.
Was that a tactical groundskeeper decision, probably, to spread y'all out?
I think so. Like, I can tell you that I came in, like, tried to make as many tackles as possible, and I'm like, I can't do it. And by the end of the game, I'm like, yeah, he's going to fucking score. Just there you go.
At one point, I sacrificed Kobe. I love him. I sacrificed him because I knew I had to be ready for the next phase. And he was standing next to me, and I take him and I grab his shirt and his shorts and I throw him at the guy's knees, and he takes him down and I get set up for the post. And it was like that. And then they just scored a lot. But anyway, somehow I managed to fuck up both my thumbs. The one on the left hand is more muscular. The other one's a joint thing. And so like I can barely open like a 20-ounce soda. Like I have to struggle to do that still.
It is very sad. I got a text from Panda on the way back from that game, and he said he reminded me of when Eli Gemstone broke his son's thumbs in season 2 of the Righteous Gemstones. Cookie is muted, so we will not be going to Cookie next. Anything else, Mike?
I mean, just other than that, got to watch a lot of goats in the last 2 weeks. It's actually been pretty exciting. WrestleMania was pretty solid. Tiger Woods coming out from that car accident, crushing it. Terry Funk. I'm excited to talk about.
And what about FTR? Can we talk about the incredible run that FTR has had over the last 2 weeks?
I mean, just like dropping banger after banger after banger. Yeah.
I believe the first week we took off, Dax had a match against CM Punk. A singles match. Incredible singles match. The next week, they went against the Gun Club. And, it's not the most incredible match in the world, but you start to see them turning face and start kind of changing up their wrestling style a little bit. 2 days later, they have a match against the Briscoes, which is one of the best matches I've ever seen in my entire life. Jasmine and I are sitting there. I'm pacing the house. It's an incredible matchup. And then less than 7 days later, they have a banger against the Young Bucks.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive. And for me to kind of be able to sit through it, particularly when it's not a live match, like knowing that the Briscoes match was like over 20 minutes, for me to sit through that and never once go like check my phone or do anything like that, like is a telling thing. Live matches for me, I'm a little more engaged, but yeah, like knowing the outcome and like knowing some of the spots already, it was still really it was just fucking awesome. And Dax Harwood has the best hot tag game, bar none.
What was that, Mike? Jesus Christ.
Russians a bomb in my shed.
It sounded like that was like his hot take, and that was his hot take sound effect.
Oh, you got a soundboard over there?
And Dax Harwood has the best hot tag. Boom!
Some damn young bucks are trying to come after me.
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
We're not supposed to be working today. It's Sunday.
He's going to hit us with the Jamaican horns next. Are you DJing the birthday party, Mike?
Maybe if my shed holds up, I might be. I don't know.
Holy cow. So anyways, yeah, Dax had one of the best hot tags on Thursday night or Wednesday night. And then Friday night, I got to watch a kid get murdered by John Moxley in an incredible matchup. So it has been a very interesting past few weeks of professional wrestling.
I was at work when you sent that screenshot of Mox with the slap and blood's just slinging off his forehead. I looked down and was like, I hate I'm missing this right now.
Yeah, you know, it's crazy. That Yuta guy, right? Yuta is from Myrtle Beach. Yuta would come to the events that we had for the wrestling events. So he grew up watching Dax Harwood wrestle. And I would see him at the gym and he'd come up and he's like, yeah, I watched Midnight Mayhem last week. It was great. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, what's your name? He's like, my name's Paul. I'm training to be a wrestler and stuff. And then 5 years later, I'm like, holy crap. That's the guy that used to like talk to me at the gym. I sent Dax a text message about it, and he's like, yeah, this kid's incredible, man. He's like a new Ricky Steamboat, and like he's going to have a big future ahead of him.
We need to find a bootleg version of the match so I can watch it.
For the Yuta match?
Yeah.
Do you not have the TNT app?
Can you go in and like watch replays?
Oh, of course, yeah.
They need to advertise that shit better. I did not know that. Literally
like the splash page when you open up the thing.
Yeah, that's how I watch everything post Wednesday night after y'all been blowing up the group chat all night and I miss it.
Oh no, Cookie's making a shit list. Cookie may be out because Xfinity is fucking him over. Stand by. Tolbert, how was your week?
Week was very good. My wife Katie's back at working, and I definitely say full capacity. So she's been taking care of postpartum mamas and doing all that kind of thing. So it's been daddy-daughter day many days of the week. But I've adjusted. I've gotten pretty good at anticipating a newborn's needs. We hang out. She seems to like me.
Has she tried to nurse you yet?
Yeah, definitely. Have you ever been around many newborns, dude? They try to nurse everything. They're like, is Milky's in this? I'm gonna suck on this. You gonna suck on this?
Has she shit your pants yet? Like blown out through all of her layers and onto your pants?
It has been a while, but yes. So that was more of a phase like a month ago. Now, see, her poops used to be able to hear them. You could hear her blast them. You could hear him blasting across the room.
Just like what we heard with Mike. That was actually him shitting.
It would get all over you. Now they're like silent. And you're like, are you pooping or are you not pooping? But then you smell it and you're like, oh, yeah, you pooped. But yeah, it's been fun. So, I'm definitely ready to get to the phase where she can sit up on her own. So I like you said, when you became a father, Mike, I know where dad's strength comes from now. It's from holding a 13-pound baby constantly.
Yeah, we found out
I'm getting fucking swole over here, dog.
We found out that Hudson, who turns 2 in 2 days, weighs 1.5 pounds less than Elliot, who turns 4 in August.
That's insane to me.
Again, what did you called him a bag of Quikrete?
Yeah.
Still just a bag of Quikrete.
Now he's a wet bag of Quikrete.
You've got both members of Heavy Machinery as your children.
Yeah, your son's essentially Otis.
Well, they've been they got this trampoline, man. They're bodying up each other. It's like, where do you draw the line? Like when they're like jumping on each other, as long as they're not screaming, is that okay? Or
like gonna throw a chair at the trampoline?
Oh my god,
get him!
Again, Hudson just takes all the heat. Elliot just bulldogs him left and right and all this sort of stuff. But I think
Hudson's a worker, huh?
Yeah.
He's a jobber, jobbing out for his brother.
Tolbert, when it comes to the past 3 weeks of work, any crazy stories, anything happening?
Not particularly. A lot of guys that look like the Briscoes have been coming in.
Hey, man, how are you? Just got done hanging drywall.
No, it's been pretty standard. Wilmington itself has been just busy. I feel like we've just been invaded by people from everywhere but North Carolina.
Yeah, it's been miserable.
Tourist season has started months ago. Yeah, it's crazy.
I was at Costco last week and I heard 3 separate conversations from 3 different people about like being on vacation or getting their supplies or for the week or whatever. I'm like, yo, it's March. What the fuck are we doing?
Yeah. So I actually had this moment. I didn't mean to scare the couple. And I was joking, but sometimes you joke and the joke doesn't land and they take you kind of seriously. But it was this couple from I think they're from Boston. And the lady sits down. She's like, "Are you from this area?" I'm like, "Well, kind of, She's like, "You were born and raised here in North Carolina?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." She's like, "Well, I haven't met a single person actually from North Carolina." And I jokingly said, "It's because of your goddamn Yankees." But they took me seriously and and they promptly tabbed out. And I hear the lady go, "I don't think they like us here."
Oh my God.
I was like, I was joking.
You should have pointed directly to the pinball machine and been like, well, that guy's family's been here since the 1600s. And it's Adrian kicking the pinball machine and cussing. Damn it. Damn it, Godzilla.
I think your brother might have been there. But it was just a funny moment. But yeah, those have been my weeks. We had a Azalea Festival this weekend, which has been much different here at Wilmington because they restructured the whole thing. But it was good. We had Cypress Hill and Big Daddy Kane downtown last night. So we had a bunch of elder millennials stoned off their asses, which was fine. Great crowd.
Yeah, I think that would be a much better crowd than the REO Speedwagon crowd from the night before.
Older crowd last night or night before, for sure. You just see like the older, like burnout dudes and like, yeah, I saw so many old REO Speedwagon shirts just like tucked in to like cargo shorts
with cell phone clips. Like,
of course.
Hold on, I'm getting a call.
But yeah, good week, man. Just daddy daycare all week, so it's been gratifying.
Well, while we're waiting on Cookie to get done with his Xfinity cable thing, some stuff. I got to do some stuff. Terry turned 1 this week. That's like the biggest thing in the world for me.
It is. I mean, that's the most important thing ever, right?
Yeah, like that was the most important thing that happened to me this week. I got to watch a UFC pay-per-view last night that was very good. Alexander Volkanovski, I think, is one of the greatest featherweight champions right now. He is incredible. What else happened this week? Yeah, that sounds about it. So I guess we'll just still wait on Cookie. I got engaged. So, yeah.
I kind of rounded up the weekend, whatever. I think I'll just, get engaged.
Yeah, so I got fucking engaged. Can you guys believe that? Aaron Varnum got engaged this past week.
Yeah, considering your history, I am surprised.
Yeah. I think my parents were. My brother was. Julie always had faith in me.
Yeah. I always had faith in you too, buddy.
I knew that this was the next step once you bought the PlayStation 5.
Why? Yeah, once I got that big purchase out of the way, I'm like, I guess I can save up for a ring.
You can commit, right? Like you.
Yeah. I committed to saving up for that PlayStation 5. I could commit to buying the ring. So, Jasmine and we picked out this ring months ago, or she picked out this ring months ago. I'd paid it off. There was about an 8-week lead time for them to build this thing. Jasmine and I, being the kind of different people we are, she knew that it was coming, and she wanted to get it over with. She told me. So I got the notification.
In your 30s.
Say what?
That's life in your 30s, man.
Yep.
Yeah, she's like, I know we're getting married. I know we're getting married. Let's get it over with the proposal. I got the notification on Monday that the ring was coming in. I get it Wednesday at 3 p.m. Jasmine gets off work at 5 p.m. We were engaged by 5:35.
That's efficiency, man. That's
so we went to the River Lights area, a new kind of developed area here in Wilmington. Very pretty river walk there. We walked along the shore. We had, of course, young Terry. It was his 1-year birthday. We had him along with us. We put him down on the river log. I'm like, hey, babe, it's a little chilly outside. I need to go get my jacket. And she's like, okay, yeah, it is a little chilly. Little did she know inside that jacket was a wrapped up bottle of champagne and 2 glasses, right? So I walked down with it, and she's like, why didn't you put it on? I'm like, oh, I need let me just put it down for 1 second. And then when it put it down, I'm like, hey, can you hold this? And I went down on one knee with the box in hand to open up the box and asked her to marry me.
And she said yes at first, or she have to think about it?
Yes. She said yes. So
and then you illegally consumed champagne?
We illegally consumed champagne. Aaron Varnum, not a drinker, has not drank in so long, drank half a bottle of champagne, and I was drunk on the Riverwalk shoreline. I was drunk. I was supposed to do a home chef that night, and I said, no, honey, we eating Winnie's.
We're going to get some fancy Nancy's on the way home.
We getting Winnie's on the way home. I can't cook no more. It was a good day. We sat out there for a little bit, drank the champagne, watched the sun kind of, crest along the shore. And it was one of those things, man. It was a great day. Got home. I was like, honey, we need to get home. FTR's fighting the Bucks tonight.
Can we say for long-time listeners, they'll appreciate this, but everybody else in the group chat no-sold it. But Aaron sends the photo of the ring, the champagne, Terry, and I just hit him with this isn't wrestling. and I waited. Nobody said anything. So then I said, congrats. I didn't know if Aaron was mad.
You don't ever have to worry.
I was very much laughing.
He was just drunk.
I was drunk. And at that point, I was fielding calls left and right because I had sent mom and dad a picture, and they're like, And then,
you don't have to ever really worry, Mike, because somehow, some way, he's going to bring it back around to wrestling.
Exactly. Of course, yeah. And then Jasmine's mom called us. Like, we were trying to field all the comments and stuff through our text messages because we sent it out to a bunch of people. It was just a lot, but it ended up being a great day. We're engaged now. We're now is the hard part of figuring out wedding plans.
Oh, dude, you guys got it.
We basically have a very well thought out skeleton of what we want to do. Now we just have to fill in the details.
Yeah, fly trap with yakitori appetizers.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? That's not a bad idea. I didn't even think about fly trap.
We actually talked about fly trap. Well, I talked about fly trap when Katie and I were getting married, and she said, absolutely not.
Stand by real quick.
Hey, there's running water. There's 2 porta potties.
There's porta potties.
There's lights.
Oh, hold on. Here she comes. I'm going to ask her. Jasmine, my beautiful fiance.
Look great right
now. Jasmine, my beautiful fiance. Mm-hmm. How would you feel about us getting married at Flytrap Downs?
Okay.
I thought that there was going to be a much more.
What? Like no?
Yeah, I thought there was going to be a hard.
We'll throw out some 10x10s. We'll put out a keg.
We can get a 40.
Doing
this 40 by 60 tent, and you can put a wrestling ring in there.
No. That's a no.
We're going to turn a profit on this wedding. We're going to sell tickets. We're going to get
$50
down here. We're going to book Terry Funk.
We'll put flyers out at Walmart. in the wrestling
Yeah.
toy section.
And I'll sit at the gate of Flytrap with a cigar box and like smoking a cigar. I'll be the ticket guy. We got it all planned out already.
What we'll also do is we'll get a sponsor. We'll get a sponsor and we'll try to fly in the real Terry Funk in from Amarillo.
From his assisted living facility.
Yeah, from his assisted living facility.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't care.
Oh my God. All right. Well, bye.
Dawson's.
Bye, Jasmine. My beautiful fiance. I don't know if Cookie's going to be a part of this intro, so let's.
You need to book the Dawsons and FTR for your wedding.
The Dawsons versus FTR, the wedding extravaganza. It's going to be $2 steak fest. Is basically what it is.
So, boys, we got Liverpool versus City here.
Yeah, Cookie. We're gonna go on without you. We love you, Cookie. We'll talk to you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some wrestling. All right, Mike. Mike, you get the very first matchup this week. You have got Terry Funk against Tommy Wildfire Rich.
That is correct. And like I was saying, we got to watch some GOATs this week. And I was really excited to see that we were going to cleanse our palate with a Terry Funk episode. Because with Terry, you know what you're going to get, but you also don't know what you're going to get.
And I like that about that, because no two matches are alike with Terry Funk. You're going to have your smattering of throwing of chairs, your smattering of other things. But when it comes to Terry Funk, it is a mystery every time.
All right, yeah. And so we get Terry Funk, and Tommy Wildfire Rich. And when you pull up the link, then both wrestlers are already in the ring. The crowd is already chanting Terry's name. And immediately, my first reaction goes, man, sometimes I wish we could still live in kayfabe.
Yes.
Because this was awesome. Just right off the bat, I'm already getting into it. I don't know where it's at the time. I don't know a time of like year. Obviously, it looks a little older Terry, but he's over. And
babyface Terry also.
Yeah. The quality of the video is clearly VHS. Very low quality, not very crisp. And so I'm like, all right, maybe this is like the 80s. 80s Terry, after his NWA run and all that sort of stuff. And then, so the crowd's chanting, Terry, Terry, Terry. Then they introduce Tommy Wildfire Rich. He gets booed. I'm like, all right, cool, good heel heat. And then he goes, you fat fuck. And I'm like, oh shit, this is ECW.
Yeah. Immediately you're like, oh, this is Philadelphia. This is ECW.
And it was awesome. And as soon as I knew it was ECW, I was like, all right, this is going to be interesting to see what we get.
And it's another thing about this. Tommy Wildfire Rich, not known for an ECW run because he never was in ECW, right? Tommy Wildfire Rich is a very traditional NWA style Southern wrestler. And here he is in Philadelphia.
And to jump ahead a little bit, I appreciated the fact that this was early. You could tell it's early ECW. And you know how, anything that deals with fringe stuff usually tends to kind of lean into that thought process or, whatever it might be. And so then things later on, or as it goes, gets more extreme and more fringe and all that sort of stuff. Well, this is kind of early because, people aren't handing rakes and toasters and all that sort of stuff. They're just there to enjoy a good time, occasionally try to hand a chair off. But the crowd intensity is still there, but it's more about the intensity of the match versus just the spectacle of it, which I kind of appreciate for early ECW. Bell rings, Tommy Wildfire Rich immediately gets tossed outside, and they're working into the crowd. Wouldn't you know, he's bleeding already.
I don't even know what happened.
Terry Funk punched him. And it kind of proceeds to work its way back into the ring. You get some classic, like you said, NWA style wrestling. So it's again about more of the wrestling at this point than it is the spectacle, but it is Extreme Rules. So with that, we get your classic Terry Funk chair throw. But what made this so spectacular was this is the first time I've ever seen Terry Funk simultaneously kick a man in the stomach and throw a chair into the ring.
incredible.
It's mind blown. Again, and that's what we were going back and saying is you never know what you're going to get with Terry Funk.
Sometimes he'll throw it and the chair opens up in the middle of the ring.
Yeah. And there's two more spots that involve this chair that we don't really typically see with Terry Funk. And so, he gets him back in the ring. They're fighting some more, and Terry's a little bit, we didn't know much longer he was going to work at this point, but it's the 90s. He's been doing this for 20-some years. He probably gets a little tired. He gets a little burned out, a little gassed. So what does Terry do? Terry sets the chair up in the middle of the ring, sits down, and proceeds to continue to beat Tommy Fire Rich's ass. Like, he's punching him in the face. Like, hey, man, this is what's up. This is what we're going to do. And it was beautiful. You get your classic back and forth, right? The heel's got to get his shit in, and Terry absorbs it. And then this is really why I love Terry Funk, because again, something I've never seen, and it just really, I don't know, for some reason, like, struck me, and I was like, man, that was pretty cool, because Terry Funk doesn't need that fucking chair. So what does Terry Funk do? Terry Funk throws the chair out of the ring. I'm done with this. I don't need this. I'm gonna beat your ass the old way. And so, have you ever seen Terry Funk throw a chair out of the ring?
No, not at all. And like, there were little things just like that throughout this matchup that made this all the more compelling. I don't think, I barely have seen Terry work that style of babyface throughout. You've got the old school, like, Terry in his, his run where his Legends run, where it's like he is the kind of guy that, like, he's just going to get cheered regardless. And then you see Terry in this, and this is like the traditional white meat babyface kind of role. And it's hard to see Terry as that. And just the little things he does throughout. One thing Terry laughing at the "you fat fuck" chant is maybe one of the funniest things in the world to me.
Yeah, he did corpse immediately upon the and it made me a little self-conscious. I was like, man, Tommy's not that fat.
No, he's not. He looks like he would be, an 80-minute man on a rugby team.
There's plenty of other fat people in the audience, but either way, they eventually get outside the ring. Terry takes this nasty corner ring post spot. He's gushing blood now. They get back in, and Tommy, being the douchebag heel that he is, he tries to do Terry's finisher. Tries to get that, was a toe lock,
spinning toe hold.
And this is how dumb the Philadelphia crowd is. They start chanting like Bret Hart's name or whatever it is.
They were also doing the woo, like it was the figure four.
They were going for figure four or sharpshooter or something. Like, no, man, this is Terry Funk. Well, Tommy's trying to steal Terry Funk's shit. Terry, obviously, if you hone your skills and have a finishing move, you clearly know how to counter said finishing move. You know the weaknesses of that move. Terry gets out of it, no problem. I believe he, kicks Tommy in the face or in the chest or something like that, and immediately hooks it in on Tommy. 1, 2, 3. Tommy quits because Terry Funk's the GOAT. I don't think I've ever seen him actually use that as a finisher, though. It's pretty cool. And then we get it twice this week.
I've seen it, yeah. But this week he kills a man later on in Tolbert's segment, and then he does it for yours. Spoiler alert: Tolbert's got Terry Funk as a murderer in his segment. So.
Homicide.
Homicide, Life on the Streets, Terry Funk edition. Anyways, incredible matchup.
It was perfect. It was 12 minutes. It was classic ECW. Dude, this is why I like AEW. This is why I kind of like WrestleMania, because the fans get involved and are engaged, and you miss that on like Wednesday or on Mondays and Fridays. You see it every Wednesday at this point, but like as soon as like. The crowd is hot, and this is just like a regular match on a regular day for them, which is pretty cool. It just gets you involved.
I think that you watch this match in a vacuum, right? It's two and one. I was looking up this match. One of the reviews said it was a lot of fun watching two chunky over-the-hill Southerners get a Philly crowd this riled. And like in a vacuum, it's not the best match in the world. But you put this in front of a hot crowd, and they're going to eat this up. They're going to have fun with it because, one, Terry is incredible, and Tommy did a great job throughout, playing to the crowd and and getting the crowd even more. I mean, more heat from that crowd. So I think that it was a very fun and different matchup. We have gotten so many episodes with Terry Funk as the centerpiece, right?
Yep. It
is so hard to find matches now of Terry Funk that I'm like, did we? Yeah, we showed this one already, So finding stuff that's different and fresh. When I found this, I knew that this was going to be one of our matches that we had to talk about this week.
No, I really appreciate it. It was a good little run there. Look it up.
I guess we're not going to have Cookie this episode.
Hey, I will say, again, this is one for the longtime listeners of the show. Shout out social media presence. Our boy, Everything's a Bong. This guy has had some wild ups and downs in the last year or so, if you follow him on social media. But he continues to live his gimmick. I
think he got shadow banned at one point. Somebody they kicked him off of Instagram. He had to change up his name.
And he got profiled on Vice.
Yes. He sends me, he doesn't send me. He posted a message. He's like, Vice shouted me out, and they're doing an article on me. And I'm like, oh, cool.
And then he proceeds to shout us out, which was really cool because, again, that thing was about 2 years ago. We had him on the podcast for a little bit, but we still appreciate his work. He's a grinder. He's doing his thing. And so, just shout out Everything's a Bong. I think it's at Weird Bongs at this point right now, though. So it's just one of those things where you got to find him, but, sharing the love on the internet. Appreciate it.
Everything's a Bong. But now it's like, I think it's, what is his account
Weird
now?
Bongs or something like that.
It's what?
Like Weird Bongs, I think. I don't know. I'm watching the Masters. Otherwise, I'd look it up on my phone.
Yeah, it is at Weird Bongs. If you want to follow this man, he is one of the most entertaining follows on Twitter, Instagram. We love him to death. And thank you for the shout out this week. We will maybe once again try to get Tolbert to make a bong.
Make a bong, though, not make a bong cake.
Not a bong cake. I thought that it was so genius. It was not.
No, it was fake. But man, we've been doing this a while.
Yeah, we've been doing this this is our 140th episode. It's been almost 4 years, I think, right? 3 years?
Almost 3 years. I think, yeah, this is around our 3-year episode, the third anniversary.
Cookie is here. Cookie?
Yes.
Can we hear you?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Mike, how does that sound? Does that sound okay?
Sounds like you're holding your phone into the microphone, so just keep it there nice and tight.
Yeah.
Don't go too long, Cookie.
Yeah, don't go too long. Cookie, for the strong style, you had Scott Hall against Terry Funk. Tell me about your matchup.
I can do that, Aaron. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Cookie is so frazzled today. Cookie's been going through a issue with the cable man.
And your speaker's on the bottom of your phone, if you want to put that into the microphone.
Is it? Talk to me.
I didn't know that.
No, there's a speaker at the top.
Don't you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
My speakers are on the bottom.
My speaker's at the top. Talk for me, Cookie.
Definitely at the bottom.
Mine's at the top.
Well, anyway, are you ready?
Yes, Cookie.
Talk loud, Cook.
Now, Aaron, I'll tell you about my match. I know some of us are wondering whether or not this is Russo WCW, but this is NWA, and this is 1989. And the bad guy doesn't even exist yet, nor does the NWO. At this point, it's Scott's buddy Kevin Nash is still being the great and powerful Oz. Am I right, Aaron?
Yes.
Now, Aaron, how would you describe Scott Hall? How would you describe the way he looked during this match?
He looks like a Midwestern father with a perm.
Yes. He looks like Michael P.S. Hayes with blonde hair. and that big ass boomerang on his face, or AKA that mustache.
That mustache looked like it brushed along a lot of women's private parts, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely, Aaron. I think that man, I think he grew up, doing that stuff. Oops, hold on.
Cookie's talking to the cable guy. Hold on.
I will say Scott Hall.
I had to let him out.
Hold on real quick. Mike's got a thing. Yes, Mike.
So watching that intro promo cut from Scott Hall and his white meat babyface self, all I can think of was that guy killed a man at a strip club.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that last week during the profile.
He seems so just nice with his curly hair and his mustache. Probably help your grandma carry your groceries.
He killed a man at a nightclub.
Strip club.
With his bare hands, right?
With his bare hands.
He used a gun. He stole the guy's gun.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we got the white meat baby face, the big mustache, the permed hair. We got Scott Hall versus our favorite Terry Funk, and Terry looks great in this match. This is classic Funker. We got, the leather poncho, the leather chaps, the hat, the branding iron. I mean, chef's kiss, if you will. Am I right, Aaron?
Yeah, and this is Arlington, or this is Amarillo. Like, they are in Texas right now, the Panhandle, if you will, and they are in front of a live crowd that loves and grew up on the Funk family.
100%. 100%. Now, Aaron, this Terry Funk, would you say this is peak Terry Funk?
This is my favorite. This is middle-aged and crazy Terry Funk, which is maybe my favorite era of Terry Funk. So yes, peak Terry Funk.
I love it. Let's go ahead and get to the countdown.
Cookies top 4, number 1.
Terry sold those chops to the chest like he just ate a lemon. I mean, you even hit his all in those chops. I mean, he looked like Walter out there, just chopping the hell out of this big oak tree known as Terry Funk's chest. And, I mean, he closed his eyes, puckered his face, fell to a knee. Terry Funk, what a man. What a man. He sells like no other. But let's go to the next one.
Number 2.
At one point in this match, Terry gets thrown into the ropes. And, Aaron, I'm pretty sure you chuckled at this. He starts doing his little teeter-totter gimmick on the ropes where he's, like, dangling. He doesn't know if he wants to fall out or stay inside the ring.
Classic Terry Funk. He's the best.
He is. Eventually, he pulls himself up, and then what happens? Of course, he gets clotheslined over the top ropes. You got to love Terry Funk, man. Let's go to the next one.
Number 3.
Let's talk about balling on a budget for a second, or I guess wrestling on a budget. Aaron, where do you think NWA bought those mats from on the outside?
The mats and the railings both at the Dollar Tree, it looks like. Those mats were thinner than Tolbert's hair.
Absolutely. And I think they got a good deal on them, Aaron. I think they got them for like 5 for 1 at the local Dollar General, like you said. And because Terry was throwing those things like it was a light blanket. Do
you remember like when you were in kindergarten and you have nap time and you get the school provided mats that are like maybe 5 centimeters thick and the edges are hard plastic and it cuts you a little bit. That is what those mats were outside the ring.
Absolutely. You felt every bit of that floor that you were laying on. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes. I'm going to go to my honorable mentions before we go to the last one. Terry Funk trying to hit Scott Hall with a pile driver on the concrete. But the ref, Tommy Young, grabbed Terry's arm and prevented Terry Funk from giving us a pile driver to the outside. Aaron, I got heat with Tommy Young.
Well, so did Terry. Terry hits him because of that. And Tommy Young, the badass that he is, no sells his hit, basically.
I know. He's not selling for him. What?
That's Tommy Young, man.
Anyway, let's go to the next one. Very last one.
Number 4.
So Scott Hall tried to finish this match with a bulldog. He had a couple of them earlier in the inside the ring, and I guess this is Scott Hall's finisher. But he tries to do it outside. Goes to the well one too many times. Terry counters it. Scott goes back first onto the concrete. No mats are involved, of course. Terry follows this up, brings him into the ring. hits his patented pile driver.
That splat of Scott Hall taking that back bump to the concrete was pretty gross.
That was, honestly, I was like, ooh, as a big man too, I'm like, he's like Mike's size and taking that bump on the concrete. I know I wouldn't do it.
Mike says no.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think Mike would take that bump either. Mike, can you ask Mike, would he take that bump or would he rather not be able to use his thumbs?
What would you rather, Mike?
At this point, knowing what I know about my thumbs, I'll take the bump.
Okay. Yeah, sounds about right. Okay. Well, so we got Scott Hall taking that bump. Terry Funk goes into the inside, hits that pile driver, and guess what, guys? We get a big Terry Funk win, back on $2 steak after 3 weeks of being on vacation. And guess what? This match is, of course, going to get 5 cookies because it's Terry Funk.
Thank you, Cookie.
Terry Funk.
Thank you, Cookie. Thank you for calling in, Cookie. I know it was a little tough this morning with everything else. We still love you, brother. And we'll see you next week. Cookie, we might do a Tommy Rich episode next week.
Really? So we're not going to do one of the guy in Tolbert's match, Monmar or whatever?
No, I don't think Monmar had any other matches because he's dead.
Oh, that's right. He passed away during the match.
Correct. Yes.
Spoiler.
Fighting the dead man.
Spoiler alert. Tolbert has a murder in his matchup.
Aaron, can I just give you one quick thing that has happened to me in these 3 weeks that I just really want to tell?
Yes, please.
Aaron, last night, and this is another reason why I know that I need to get out of Colorado. Aaron, last night I was packing up my old apartment, and I walked outside, and I came across this young gentleman who was wearing a fur coat and boxers. Now, Aaron, it's 30 degrees outside, so I was like, okay, what is this guy doing? And he just walks past me. He just says, "Hey, what's up, man?" And I say, "Hey, how you doing?" And he just keeps walking. So I'm like, all right. Get back up to my apartment, walk back outside. I see that same guy again. He comes across me and he says, "Just ignore me, man. I'm being a weird white guy today."
Oh.
I said, "Oh, all right. Okay, man." He was just like, "Yeah, man, if you ever want to hang and talk about music and smoke some weed, like, you can come down. We're down the hall to the left." I was like,
I don't.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
I don't.
Yeah. I was like, I don't, and I need to get the fuck out of this place because you are wearing no pants, no shirt, just boxers and a fur coat. I got to get the fuck out of Colorado.
Yeah, welcome back to North Carolina, Cookie.
I can't wait.
All right, for our final matchup of the evening, Tolbert.
Yes.
We've talked about Terry Funk all day, and here we go. Another great matchup by Terry Funk. Tolbert, what exactly, can you give us a play-by-play of your matchup? I have in the rundown Terry Funk versus question mark.
Yeah, so I was intrigued because you do this to me quite often. You're like, "Oh, mystery opponent." I pulled up the link. I was like, no, it's not. I saw the sci-fi logo in the bottom corner of the television, and I see the shitty production quality that is false or fiction or truth or what was it called?
Beyond belief.
Yes.
Fact or fiction.
Yeah. I used to watch the show when I was a kid. Do you remember watching this?
I watched it so much. It scared me too. The show scared me.
There was this one episode where kids are playing a game, and this one always stuck with me. And one of them goes and hides in the closet.
It disappeared?
It disappears forever. They never saw the kid again. It was like some poltergeist shit. And that one episode scared the shit out of me.
But was that fact or fiction?
I think it was true, Varnum. They never saw the kid again.
Narnia, man. Narnia.
And so
the show, I remember watching it. My mom and I would watch it. I think, honestly, I have a whole, like a 6-hour tape.
Just another big factor of fiction.
Of Beyond Belief Factor Fiction at my parents' house. I need to go. Next time I go to my parents' house, I'm going to get it. And I'm going to start converting a lot of these terrible VHS tapes. And you guys can see what molded my mind. It's like between Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, professional wrestling. All these tapes are just a hodgepodge of stupid things that I loved as a kid.
That was pretty much mine. It was a wrestling, Fact or Fiction, and then
Ripley's Believe It or Not.
Yeah, and then when my parents went to bed, I would watch Wild on E.
Yeah. Wild On.
That was after everyone went to bed, and then after a little Wild On, you watch the Scrambled Porn channel.
That's
right. It was Channel 22, the Spice Channel in Wilmington.
But anyway, watch the show all the time. This one is featuring none other than Terry Funk himself, and he's playing an old retiring wrestler. It's his last match. You know, he hasn't had a very good run in his latter part of his career, you know, and they're going to give him one more match to go out on top. And his opponent comes in with his promoter and is like, no, I can't let you do that. And his opponent is very Iron Sheik-esque. His name's Mustafa or something like that.
Yeah, but he was Egyptian.
Pharaoh.
He was the Egyptian pharaoh.
And he comes in, he's like, oh, you're a bum. Your career is nothing. You're going out on the bottom. You know, I'm not putting you over, essentially.
I think you failed to mention the greatest part of the entire thing was Terry Funk's manager saying, what are you going to do now that you're retiring? And Terry Funk says in 100% Terry Funk fashion, oh, my brother got me a job as a part-timer at the plant. And he looked so happy to be a part-timer at the plant. Like it was.
I read this in a different mental capacity in the sense of go Terry, go that guy. He's retired. He's saved up enough money that he can go work part-time at the plant.
That his brother, that Dory got him the job at.
Set him up.
Unfortunately, the plant's in Japan.
The plant's in Japan. And they make barbed wire.
Yeah, that's his perfect job for Terry. You know, but every line of dialogue Terry Funk delivers is flawless. He is it? It is. So we got the setup, you know, he's delivering these lines about how he's just, you know, damn it, I'm going out on top. I don't care what anybody says. And his manager, Terry's manager, is like, you know, Terry, be careful. Don't get hurt out there. You know, we cut to the ring. Beautifully set up shot of a wrestling ring in the crowd. His opponent comes out. It's kind of confusing because he's supposed to be the heel, but everyone loves him. I don't know. I think Sci-Fi got that one wrong.
Yeah, I was confused about the psychology behind this match.
Yeah. Not much psychology.
And I'm surprised that Terry didn't call him out on that.
He beat Terry 7 times before this.
Yeah,
that's true. Terry had never beaten him.
Never beaten him.
So he comes out. Terry's character is a steel worker. A working class guy, you know, he's got a big steel hammer, you know, he comes out, the crowd's booing him. They hate this old washed up jerk, you know. His opponent starts to kick his ass, you know, just beating him all over the place. And Terry's like, you know what? Or I think his character's name is Buck, I think, something of the sort. He's like, I'm not going to take this. This is my last match. I'm going out on top. And how do you go out on top? With shoot snap DDTs.
That's right.
That's how you go on top. Terry grabs him and he's just doing shoot snap DDTs right on this guy's head. He hits him with 3. Oh man, he just beats the shit out of him. He pins him with a almost like a Boston Crab like maneuver, reverse Boston Crab.
No, that was a spinning toe hold. That's spinning toe hold.
Yeah, so he gets him with a spinning toe hold. 1, 2, 3. Guy doesn't even try to kick out of it. He's celebrating. He's like, yeah, I won. I'm going on top, man. I just shot on this guy. And the ref goes, hey, man, that guy's dead. My favorite part is the ring doctor that comes in with the stethoscope and he raises his hands in the air, calls the match. This man's been dead for 20 minutes. So the whole time, Terry's been wrestling a dead man and didn't even know it.
Terry's like, why were you sandbagging me, you son of a bitch?
So what started as him going out on top just ends him
mauling
as a murderer.
A corpse, which makes it even more darker than it should have been.
So the fact or fiction is did this guy really die 20 minutes ago? And Terry was just pushing him around and DDTing him.
I believe one of the lines was, did his heart stop? But his will kept on going.
Yeah.
And he was able to keep wrestling during the heart attack.
Yeah. So,
no, he didn't.
No. So Martin, did you look this up? Was this a true story, or is this?
I looked it up. Sadly to say, it was fiction.
You know how I knew it was fiction? Because that doctor has no idea how recently that man died without shoving his finger up his ass. You got to get a rectal temperature to find out.
Really?
I mean, I'm assuming. You got to do some math.
Mike, you sounded so like you gotta. Is there a calculus to that behind that? You're like, yeah, he's at 96 degrees.
I'm sure the body has a specific heat temperature like gradient. And if you know that the ambient temperature in the room is 73 degrees, you can pretty much figure out exactly how much, based on how much this guy weighs and what his internal temperature is now versus what it should have been, figure out when he died.
Mike, let me throw a wrench in there. No armory that I've ever been to has an ambient temperature of 73 degrees. Every armory I've ever been in is 95 degrees and up.
Well, you get what I'm saying.
Maybe all of them are smoking cigars in there because this is back in the heyday and all that stuff. It's a shit show there at the armories. Tolbert, were you surprised by your matchup this week? Did you appreciate it?
I very much appreciate it because it was a throwback to my childhood, fact or fiction, and it was a little something different. It was refreshing.
I figured, like, when I found this matchup, we have had so many episodes of Terry Funk so far, because Terry Funk is our favorite guy. He's kind of the nucleus behind this podcast. We use his theme song and all that stuff. When I saw this Beyond Belief Fact or Fiction thing, I was like, oh my God, it's Terry Funk acting. It's Terry Funk in a sort of a match. And the whole, moral of the story of Terry Funk wrestling a dead man made it even more incredible. And,
of course.
It ended up being an amazing segment for you, Tolbert.
And even in the shitty little production, Terry works his ass off. He takes some bumps in the recording. He goes through the middle ropes a couple of times. He takes some leg drops. And when Terry shows up to work, Terry works. You're going to get the full funk.
I loved it, man. Like, after I was done watching it, I was like, that is a high spot. That's a high spot.
Yeah, it is. So
because originally I was going to give you Mike's match as the high spot. And then when I found that, it ended up being just, synchronicity.
Oh, so Mike, you're going to have to write a HighKu on the fly since that was an almost high spot match you got.
No.
Tolbert, do you have a beautiful HighKu for this thing?
Man, this one was kind of tough, but I got one. Funk's getting over, even if it kills that guy. Terry killed that guy.
He's been dead for 20 minutes.
So now I'm going to go watch Liverpool kill Man City and win the Premier League.
Tolbert, I have one question, though. Like, do you think that's going to go in his permanent record? Do you think the plant is going to be a little bit leary about hiring this man for a part-time position?
He's going to come in for that part-timer. And my man, we heard something, Mr. Buck. We hope it's not true, but you have a man's blood on your hands. So
literally,
he's going to have to talk to HR about that one, I think.
If he has a CDL,
yeah. But I can drive a forklift. You're hired. You're hired.
You're hired.
All right. Thank you for listening to $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast. Next week, we might have more episodes of Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction. We may have a Scott Hall match. I may even go deep dive. And this is probably what I'm going toward. We might have a Tommy Rich episode.
Ooh.
Wildfire Tommy Rich next week on $2 Steak, a pro wrestling podcast.